Is Huntsville, Alabama the next hot market? Pre-COVID-19, cities like Austin, Denver, and Nashville were constantly making headlines like best cities to move to or hottest tech markets. But after COVID-19, things seem to have cooled off. And by things, I mean their housing markets, their job markets, their pop culture references have all but cooled down to your average city's existence. And I think a major reason for this is because all the hype around these cities really shot up their home and rent prices, making them mostly unaffordable for a city of their size, therefore decreasing interest. Which brings me to my point. Will Huntsville be one of the next hot markets? Or ever? All the data says they're definitely a candidate. Let's start with the rapid population growth and a little bit of history to help explain all of this. Up until 1950, there wasn't a whole lot going on in Huntsville, and the population was only about 16,000 people. Huntsville was still a cotton market town with a US Army base called Redstone Arsenal. The Army base is important to know, because 1950 is when everything began to change for the city, and it all took place at the Army base, because they were developing rockets for the US Army there. This development is what brought scientists and engineers in droves to the city so they could partake in the aerospace industry that was booming for the town. I mean, Huntsville's put a lot of people in space. This booms the population up until today, and now Huntsville is Alabama's most populated city. And on top of having a booming population, the city has great economic growth since 2007, easily outpacing the country and even more so the state. Although since 2020, the nation has begun to outpace the city again, which kind of makes sense because when you look at the economic vitality for the city, it's kind of all over the place. But it's still much more stable than the country and the state, so I'm sure it'll speed back up again. And on top of everything, the housing market is extremely affordable. The median home value is more than 10% lower than the nation's at $328,000. Today, the primary industries in Huntsville are still aerospace, IT, biosciences, and manufacturing. I mean, that little cotton town has come a long way. All the data comes from Ursus.com, and be sure to follow if you want to learn more things like